Welcome to day 98. Hope you are well and have had an amazing day. I don't know why I'm singing, but I'm going with it. Clearly singing isn't my forte, but I love doing it because it brings a certain energy to who I am. I'm on day 98 and I've had a really busy 3 days, a combination of work and meeting one of my really good friends today and having just a day out together, and it's been really amazing. And it's made me realise that it's all about focusing on you, what you enjoy, what brings joy into your life, and that our thoughts are just little stories that are created from our perception. Because our mind wants to be creative, it wants to create things, and if we are viewing these through how we see the world, it's our perception, and our perception of the world isn't necessarily the perception of somebody else. So you might believe that say if you cross the road to get to the other side, when the light goes orange, that you will have bad luck for the rest of the day. But someone else in their own world wouldn't even conceive of that. They would only cross the road when there was a green man, and others would not pay any attention whatsoever to that rule and just cross it whenever they thought there was no traffic there. And although this is a simple enough example, we all perceive things from a different point of view. And to give you an example of this, there was a time where I used to work at Cedar Court in Wakefield, and there were a group of people who had come to the bar area, and I was behind the bar on my own, and I was serving this lady and making her a hot chocolate. And as I went to the kitchen to get some more milk, when I came back, the volume of people at the bar doubled. And I could feel the tension mounting in the air. People were starting to chatter amongst themselves, saying this wasn't good enough, they were waiting too long. And I explained to them that, there was only me behind the bar and I was doing my best. But this didn't solve or turn the situation around whatsoever. So my perception was like I was doing my best. From their perception, it wasn't good enough. There needed to be more people behind the bar so everyone could get served and everyone could get on with their evening. And that was how they were perceiving it. These particular two men who were perceiving it, who were the ones who were vocalizing what they were saying. And in my head, I could have perceived the situation as this: I'm a victim, they're having a go at me, I'm not good enough. I could have gone down that route. But instead, I saw the situation and I met them exactly where I was. And I actually said that I was doing the best that I can. And they started one particular man started saying that wasn't good enough, and there should be more people behind the bar. So I met him where he was, and I said I understood what he was saying, and he was free to go and make a complaint if he so desired. And he kept on and said, you know, that it wasn't good enough, and I told him I completely agreed with him. And again, if there was a problem, you know, I was doing my best, I was doing all I can. And he carried on. So I decided to blast him with a compliment, and I said that you're a very, very kind man, you're an amazing man. I said something along those lines. And his perception momentarily stopped, and he sort of stopped himself in mid-sentence. And as he stopped in mid-sentence, he then carried on complaining about, you know, how they weren't being served. So I gave him another compliment, and by the second compliment, he turned around his line of complaint, and he said that he understood it wasn't my fault, that there needed to be more people behind the bar, and he wasn't having a go at me, and he apologised. And I believe to this day he was trying to find a way to be heard, and he hadn't been heard in that same situation before. So he'd had an experience where he'd tried to say something and he hadn't been heard by another person, and he was showing me a time in his life where he had been ignored, he had been abandoned, he had been ignored and abandoned, I guess, not seen, not heard. And by giving a compliment to somebody, it blasts through their perception of how they see things, and it blasts through their ego. And within half an hour, the situation changed. More people came to help me behind the bar, and the mood of the entire place lifted to a place of laughter and joy and love. And it was all by changing the perception of this particular man, because it could have gone very much the other way, where it could have been a very heavy feeling, and more people climbing onto the bandwagon of complaining and saying it wasn't good enough. And I truly believe that people are all doing the best that they can, and we're all capable of being limitless and stepping into that true power. And when we are in our perception of ourselves, we keep ourselves small, we keep ourselves in our little you. And when I was doing my meditation today, I just felt like I was flying through the air, and you know, my arms were outwards, and I felt like I was just bursting through the air and just really stepping out into my greatest possibilities. And I feel that now is a time to start writing my book. I do feel really drawn towards doing this. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, what it's going to say, but come next week, from a week today, I'm going to start bit by bit by writing a book. So it will be a mixture of humour, experiences in my life. Perhaps I will build in the meditation, but I've only got today, which is day 98, tomorrow, which is Friday, day 99, and I will finish day 100 on Saturday. So I'll take a break from doing this videoing for a while, but I will still be doing my meditation. So day 98, stepping away from the illusion of perception. See you tomorrow.